Hello, giant pumpkin people. Welcome back to the greenhouse. It's been a couple of weeks since we last did our update. This time of year, there's a whole lot of change in the pumpkin. You can't really notice it that well, so we only take videos once every few weeks or so. But right now, we are on the back side of the plant. Cade, give him a look at the plant from the back side. We haven't given you a backside look yet. We are in Kansas. We get high humidity. So yeah, we have some problems with leaves and stuff like that. That's just what happens. As you can tell, there's some new growth. Cade showed him some of the new growth. I let new growth go because I wanted to try to kind of fill in some of the lost leaves. This year, compared to last year, we have only lost a very few amount of leaves. Last year, we lost tons of leaves. We didn't have any of the plant going. We actually lost the main vine this time last year. So we haven't done that yet, but we've been really being careful about our main vine where it first started. So our plant first started back here. And what we want to do is make sure that that main root, the crown as some people call it, doesn't have any problems. So Cade, why don't you show them our crown of ours right here. It's a big guy. And what do? We put a double pane glass right on top of it. You can get back, it's okay, you don't have to get that close. A double pane glass, and this cooler has a little fan that runs 24/7 since it started. There isn't a time when it doesn't run. And there's a good look at it. I put this just as a precautionary sulfur. Our soil is very high pH, so sulfur isn't gonna hurt it at all. This just tries, I don't know, I hope it helps to keep it dry, to keep it from having any issues. So we put the fan right on that, blowing it. But the root has gone so big. We'll give you kind of a look here. It's so big right there. Look at that hand. Covers up more than my hand. It's huge and it's growing up. So there's a huge gap right underneath here. You got some roots here that are coming up. So there's a big gap right here and it's lifting up. And what it was doing was it was lifting up it was actually pushing on the glass, and I don't want that to happen. So I am going to put an extra brick on here, right like that. Put that there. There you go. There's a nice look at it. Cover it back up, right like that. And now it's not touching, and now it's still staying dry.
So then it's all good, and it won't cause any disease like trap water there and make it all rotten.
That's exactly right, Cade. Cade says it won't cause any disease. That's what we're trying to avoid. Because right now, what are we doing? I don't know, like 15, 20 pounds a day or something like that on our pumpkin, which is great for us.
Yeah, that is really good.
Yeah, normally ours are done in July. So we got growth in August. That's awesome. Measurable growth.
That is.
But there you go, there's the backside look. Cade, we're gonna walk through. Another thing that we do, we put our walking boards right on the actual main vine as it grows. Now the nice thing about that is when I come through here, I can look at each one of the intersections, and if I notice that something isn't right, and we'll show you up here, I can put a little bit of this sulfur just right on top of it, right on top of the main vine. And here, we're going to show you a little spot. Okay, come over here. So we're watering constantly. When you're watering, sometimes you got to be careful. It gets a little bit too wet for too long. Right here, we got a little bit of a spot. Nothing major, but it could turn major real fast. And there's one over here too. So what we do is we take our sulfur, and I'll put a little fan on this later, and we just try to dry it out. Try to keep it like that. I just put it right on my hand. Lots of it. You can't hurt it with sulfur.
Yeah.
So
especially since our pH, we have nothing to worry about.
Yep. That's exactly right. Over here, they look good. These look good. You can see that main vine. Boy, it's big, and it even gets bigger when you get closer to the pumpkin. Here's another spot here that I noticed a little bit of questionable stuff. As we go through here, we try to pick out some of the grass. This time of year, everything starts growing. It's hard to get into your vines. Try to keep your vine as healthy as possible. So that's the big thing. I don't cover this one up. My other vines I cover up, they get problems with it when they get covered up. It sometimes will get some disease or rot or something like that. My main vine I don't cover up ever with anything. So I just kind of let it grow. It doesn't produce. You can see where the root wants to grow, but I figure, well, that one root that it was going to give me, if that plant gets bad at the end of the year, it isn't going to grow anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Coming over here towards the pumpkin, same thing. We're going through. What I'm checking is, okay, my plant's getting really close right here. It doesn't have any breathing room right here. So I try to get all of that, if you can watch as I'm doing it. I try to get all of that, get my fingers underneath of it. What that allows is for some airflow to get through.
All right.
Yeah, you don't want it to rot. I can feel right underneath here, there's a couple of big old roots coming off of there, so I can't do that. But right here, I can move that away and try to keep my main vine as healthy as possible. Then when I come through, anytime I move it, put a little bit of sulfur down. There you go. Put some sulfur on that one, put some sulfur on that one. And here we are. Finally. Little too far than what we like. This here is probably almost 20 feet that we've walked. I was hoping the pumpkin would sit over here about 15 feet. So you can get a good look of what that main vine looks like. It's big, huge. Trying to keep everything healthy this time of year, especially in Kansas, is not an easy task. Okay, come on over here, Kate. So, that gives you an idea of what we do to keep our plant healthy, okay? So that's what we're trying to do. The name of the game right now is keeping everything healthy. Why? Because you got a pumpkin growing. There isn't a whole lot of anything else you can do. Spray for disease, spray for fungus. Pumpkin's gonna do its thing. You watch 2 spots are really it on the pumpkin, other than if it starts to crack. I mean, if it starts to crack, you gotta watch it. But you don't do a whole lot with the pumpkin. So, what are we all here to see, Cade?
The pumpkin.
Why do we want to see the pumpkin, Cade?
Because it's super big.
That's right. Our goal this year was to have a 1,000-pound pumpkin before August 1st. It didn't happen. What are we at? August 4th right now. What's the pumpkin at? You know, Kate? Here it is. I'm not going to measure it for you.
It's getting really, really hard to measure, especially just by yourself.
That's right. And on video, it's even more pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But what is it? 162, 163 inches around. 90 some. We put it all in. It's 1,000 pounds. Creeped over 1,000 pounds last night. Doing about 20 pounds per day. That is a nice looking pumpkin right there.
Good.
There you go. There's your good looking pumpkin cake. You can come over here, get him a good look of it. It's round, it's big, and it's growing. It's hard to see from this side here, but she's good. Right there. That's a great looking pumpkin cake. Come over here, give him a look from that side. We got 2 umbrellas up. It has worked great for us this year. One's over the stem, one's over the bud. Right now, we had a bunch of issues last year with the stem side this time of year. August 7th was about the last measurable time that we could actually see our pumpkin growing. This year, it's still growing. Look at that stem. That's unbelievable. 2 hands doesn't get around my stem.
Wow.
Still as green as can be. That's the biggest thing. You want to watch for this sucker right here. Is it healthy? If it is, it's growing. There's no doubt.
Pumpkin is, yes.
The pumpkin's going to keep growing as long as that stem is healthy. So keep that thing healthy. Keep it dry. Keep it sulfured if you need to. Whatever you need to do.
Keep it from cracking.
Keep it from cracking. Yeah, if it cracks, you gotta watch those splits. Get them early. Hopefully you can fix it. But there you go. That gives you a great look of this pumpkin. So what is our challenge now? It's hard to see. It's hard to measure, right? We're over 1,000 pounds. We want to set the record.
We want it so hard to measure, not even like, it's like so.
That's right. We're looking for the Kansas record. 1,176 pounds is what we set last year.
That's our goal right now.
This was a seed out of that pumpkin. right?
Yeah.
So what? The
I
only
can't.
thing,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Our pumpkin seed.
The
produced.
only thing that I can think to do to measure this guy to see a challenge is to put a beer bottle close by. Each time I've been measuring it with a beer bottle. So what do we think, Cade? Next time we do a video, if we do a